If you're like me, and I hope you're not, when we think of film noir, we usually think of black and white. Now, there have been some really excellent film noirs in color, such as Chinatown, Blood Simple, The Long Goodbye, but those are newer film noirs from the 70s and 80s. What about film noirs from the classic period of the 40s and 50s? This is the Kazdoy Closet. I'm Kazdoy. This is my closet full of all the stuff that I love. And today we're going to look at 3 film noirs in color from the 40s and 50s. Do they work as film noir? Let's find out. Our first film noir in color is Desert Fury from 1947. It's a weird title for a film that's a weird mix of Western, noir, and melodrama. This is about these 2 gangsters who arrive in this small town in Reno. They want a piece of the local casino, which is run by one of the gangsters' ex-flames. Now, this ex-flame also has a daughter, and one of the gangsters is attracted to the daughter. She's attracted to him. She's also attracted to the local sheriff. The daughter is played by Elizabeth Scott, who has a very interesting screen presence and kind of a smoky voice. Somebody said her face had a Frozen quality that looked like she was half asleep, and I think that's pretty accurate. She was in a lot of great film noirs in the 40s and 50s, including I Walk Alone, Pitfall, and Too Late for Tears. She appeared in 22 films, and she was the leading lady in all but one of those films. In Desert Fury, she pouts a lot. She has these temper tantrums. It's a very odd character, and her mother treats her like she's 15 or 16 years old, where she looks like she's in her late 20s or 30s. There's a lot of glamorous, very gauzy shots of her, and she's always perfectly coiffed and perfectly made up, and every scene she has a different, very stylish outfit on. Burt Lancaster plays the nice guy sheriff, and he's really wasted in this role. In fact, he wasn't very happy that he had to play this role, because it's really a nothing role. Wendell Corey is one of the bad guys, and his performance is probably the best in the film, and his character is probably the most interesting. The music, way overly dramatic, way overdone, very melodramatic. My impressions of this film were pretty negative at first. I'm like, why are these people acting this way? And nothing's really happening, and these odd characters. And but then afterwards, I started thinking about it, and there's some weird kind of sexual overtones to all these characters' motivations and their backstories. So it kind of grew on me after that. Here's a spoiler though. At the end, the Elizabeth Scott character and the Burt Lancaster character end up together, and they walk almost literally into the sunset hand in hand. So pretty corny stuff. Does this work as a color film noir? Well, there's a few people getting slapped around, which is always a good requirement for a film noir. And, there's a casino involved and some bad guys involved. But otherwise, I think it's more of a melodrama than a film noir, really. As far as the disc goes, this cover's pretty terrible. I don't even think these look like the actors in the film. But I will say this, the Technicolor in this film is just stunning. The picture is amazing. I don't think black and white would have really made much of a difference for this film. The only other extra on here, there's a commentary by the writer Imogen Sarah Smith, and she's always very interesting. Our next film noir in color is a far better film. It's The Man Who Watched Trains. It's from 1952. It's also known as the Paris Express, which I think is a more boring title. This is about a mild-mannered bookkeeper who his life is altered when something happens at work, and he gets involved in theft, murder, and adultery. It's sort of reminiscent of Scarlet Street and The Woman in the Window, but those are 2 noirs who I think are superior to this one. Claude Rains plays the main character. He's excellent, very sympathetic performance. He's best known for films like The Invisible Man, Notorious, Casablanca, and Lawrence of Arabia. He had a niche for playing cultured villains with his very distinctive British accent and his arched eyebrow. And he was always good, even just a pretty short guy at 5'6". Does this work as noir? I think it does. It's probably would have worked a little bit better in black and white, except for the fact that most of it is shot in Paris, and you have those great Paris locations, and they look really good in color. It's a noir, though, because everyone in this film is a predator, and the main character is always just making worse and worse decisions, all because, as he says at one point, all my life I've watched people eat cake, and he decides he wants to change his life. There's a femme fatale who uses everything she can, even sexually, to get what she wants. And yes, we do have a couple people getting slapped around, which is always a good thing in a film noir. This is on the Classic Flicks label. They usually just do plain bare bones discs. There's no extras on here at all. But they always do a good job. The picture looks good. And they are very well known for doing restorations of films. So I try to support the Classic Flicks discs. Our third film noir in color is House of Bamboo from 1955. This is about a group of ex-army thugs who run some pachinko parlors in Tokyo and also get involved in some robberies and heists. They get a new gang member who happens to be an undercover guy trying to bust the gang. This is directed by Samuel Fuller, who I've talked about before, and he also gets a credit on here for additional dialogue. So his background as a journalist comes in with some of the tough talking dialogue in this film. The lead gang member is played by the excellent Robert Ryan. He's very good in this. He was a longtime pacifist and civil rights leader, but he often played racist and sadistic characters. So there's a real dichotomy between what he's really like and the kind of characters that he plays. Some of his great film noirs include Crossfire, The Setup, and Odds Against Tomorrow. And some of his great westerns include The Naked Spur and The Wild Bunch. A little bit of trivia, he lived for a while at the Dakota apartment complex in Manhattan. And at one point, he sublet his apartment to John Lennon and Yoko Ono. This was filmed in CinemaScope and in Technicolor, and it's actually the first American film shot in Japan since World War II ended. There are many different areas of Japan on this film, including pachinko parlors, which apparently had never been filmed before, busy streets, marketplaces, temples, then an amusement park at the end. That's where the big shootout is, kind of reminiscent of those big set pieces that Hitchcock used to do. So does this work as a noir? Absolutely. There's lots of twists and turns. There's some tough talking characters. There's more slapping around for some people. There's heists, double crossers, sadists. In color, I probably needed to be in color because they're showing so many various parts of Japan, locations, and this huge CinemaScope canvas. It still works as a noir, though. The disc has a couple of silent newsreel promotional films, which are kind of boring. There's a commentary by two film noir experts. This is the DVD in the Fox Film Noir series from many years back. You can still get this for about 14 bucks. The picture quality is okay. It's not great. It's just kind of average. The Blu-ray, however, goes for a lot of money. We're talking about $85, $95. So I think this is a really good candidate for a good Blu-ray reissue. So does classic film noir work in color? I think black and white is more suitable for these classic film noirs because I think the black and white look meshes better with the dark themes of film noir. Now, did I still enjoy these three films? Absolutely, because any film noir is better than no film noir, right? The Man Who Watched Trains Go By is available to stream right now on Amazon Prime. The other two you would either have to rent or purchase or wait for them to show up on a streaming service. Hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to leave a comment or a suggestion. Leave a thumbs up. Don't leave a thumbs down. Share this with your friends and neighbors. Subscribe would be great. Otherwise, thank you for watching this episode, and I will see you next time.